Welcome back. This is eRacing GP Global Edition 7. Wow, in just under 2 years, we've had 7 global editions, multiple endurance editions, and this is the 7th iteration of the global editions. We've already had the copper class, we've had the bronze, we've had silver, and now we have gold, the creme de la creme. Amo, what are you looking forward to today?
Really high class racing for the highest caliber, because right now we've got several European drivers, because the gold leaderboards were open to a lot of international drivers. And I'm glad to see you looking at the live timing at the moment. We've got some really good drivers that might give a run for the Asian drivers a run for their money.
Absolutely. So we will come back to what's happening on track because the last time we were at Aragon, like I said, we've done many global editions, was in Global Edition 5. And Ottaviani, who's at the top of the timesheets at the moment, he was one of our winners in Global Edition 5. So let's have a look at the highlights of when we were last here at Motorland Aragon.
Let's get on board with Ottaviani as the red lights go off, and Ottaviani is off to a rock-solid start behind him. Drivers are trying to make a real headway, but Ottaviani is into that first corner, Amo Hazik, whereas behind him, Tasby has been clipped, and Tasby has dropped 6 or 7 places. But we've not remarked about Inigo Anton. Inigo is the only one who's really been able to go alongside Ottaviani's pace. In the meantime, P3, Mohamed Nabil and Kalen Chin going for it. Kalen Chin goes up on the inside. Nabil retakes that. So Chin into 3, then Nabil into 3 as they drag themselves around. Behind them, Naki Baslan is a second down. This is Mohamed Nabil. He's maybe, I don't know whether there'll be some brotherly love in there. He just tries to hold up Kalen Chin, but the Black Wolf driver is looking aggressive. Goes on the inside, can't find a way through. Again has a look on the inside, and Nakib has closed in on that gap. So his brother, Amo, inadvertently has done him a favour.
Yeah, definitely, and this is going to be a bit of an atonement based on what happened last time out in Silverstone, to be honest. And, having said that, Kalen through, so nope, no atonement just about yet, but he can actually do his brother still a favour by battling with Kalen. Here's Ayman, he's got the slipstream and the DRS. Both brothers pull onto the one side, so that's very much normal defensive maneuvers. But the DRS, look at that, the strength of the DRS and the slipstream has gotten Ayman up to 5th. Now he can actually challenge Nabil further up in front in 5th place, but nothing to it. As, whoa, a bit of a slide coming through the hairpin. Ayman will still have the DRS next time by. Nabil here, looking like a sitting duck.
Nakib going backwards, he's just lost ground as we join the race leader, Ottaviani.
The
win has gone to Alessandro Ottaviani. The victory is his. Inigo Anton has got P2. There was such a good battle going on lower down. On pole will be Paul Faustino from the Philippines alongside Joaquim Garrido, Masvilton and Josh Perwin on the second row. And let's drive along with Josh Perwin.
Oh!
See what he does behind them. Who is that who's gone down?
That's
Kalen Chin is out.
I think that was Nakib, because that blue car is normally Nakib's. I think he just stalled it on the grid. So
Nakib Aslan is indeed stalled. Oh, what a twist. What a turn to this championship.
And the more incident further up on the road there in turn 1. But that's the biggest one of the lot. That could easily open up the championship even more now. Whatever happened to Nakib at the start there has thrown a spanner into the works and has opened up everything.
The man in the mask, Paul Faustino, is the man who leads as Masvilton and Joaquim Garrido take out Jin Masvilton. For a moment, I thought it was Perwin. But Masvilton is the man who spins out of contention.
He's saving it up to actually use it at the final possible stretch, which is right about here. After turn 13 and 14, he's going to use the DRS and he will power his way past. And good news for him as well, he still has extra DRS to use towards the end for the end of the next lap. So there we go. He's using it now, remaining 2, slipstream onto the inside, and he takes the lead away from Paul Faustino.
Poor Josh Perwin, the new race leader. Up at the front, Paul Faustino, for so long chasing P1, is now under pressure from Mohamed Tasby. Let's not forget that Tasby is still in championship contention as well. Perwin, Tasby, Tadashi and Inigo all had decent rounds, very decent rounds this time out, whereas Nakib Aslan has had a nightmare.
Yeah, an absolute nightmare. Probably not even of his own doing, because sometimes when you actually stall on the grid, it's normally because that the game froze. So he might have had a game freeze at the worst possible moment and he couldn't start the race. So that's why he's out of the race and he didn't bother trying to actually aim for the fastest lap, because there's no point chasing other drivers when you're out of it.
Tasby eases on the inside of Paul Faustino, and Mohamed Tasby in the yellow vehicle moves into P2 in race number 2. That is worth 12 points. Purwin from Tasby. That is a winning smile from young Josh Purwin. Better hadn't celebrate too much, because Tasby's been able to pull in a full second so far in this lap. But Josh Purwin, oh, what's happened to Josh?
What's Josh doing? In fact, he's smiling right now.
What's happened to Josh?
Josh, what are you doing, Josh?
He thought he'd won. Mohamed Tasby is the winner. Josh Purwin has made... Something has happened to Josh Purwin.
What?
And Mohamed Tasby has won. Mohamed Tasby will pick up the points. Inigo Anton, another P2. Tadashi 3. Ali 4. Zini 5. Purwin just disappearing.
Okay, welcome back, and that was the highlights from the last time we raced at Aragon. As you can see, Aragon does produce some exciting racing. Ottaviani winning race 1, and of course race 2. Josh with that strange strategy because he didn't want to carry ballast into the final round of that season. Didn't work for him, did it? Because I don't think he won the championship, did he?
Yeah, he lost by a couple of points to Nakib in that final round, which was quite an exciting battle, and we finally saw Nakib cracking the dog by winning his first ERGP championship. So that was kind of like the tactics at play in that one. And we might not see the same thing here, Alex, because for the very fact that we don't have ballast to put onto the drivers in every round that we race in, because it's the cars that will be ballast, put on ballast for the sake of the fact that touring cars like that, isn't it? Touring cars is all about trying to have equal performance.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's impossible to be completely equal. That's why we have a bit of BOP. But the car in shot right now, the Cupra, has 10 kilograms today. And Ottaviani, who we saw win race 1 in the highlights several months ago, is on top again by 1.2 seconds. So I don't think that 10 kilograms is affecting him too much.
Yeah, it's not. And the fact that the Cupra, all around in this track, I've heard hearsay from plenty of drivers, it is a very strong car anyway, so probably the way that this car is just gels together with the circuit is how it allows him. No connection to being Spanish, of course.
Yeah, of course. Maybe just does well on Spanish tracks. Driver we know very well, Haris Zafishami there in second position, is looking good. And then, of course, Inigo Anton. Inigo Anton is a top talent from the Philippines. For me, in a normal, if this was a DTM race or a GT3 race, he'd be one of my favorites for the championship. However, it is the WTCR car, and as he goes quickest.
Yep, and
not quickest, second quickest. But yeah, so I was just about to say, I don't think he has a chance in this car because he doesn't know the WTCR car very well, and he's got against some top talent. Isn't he? I mean, Ottaviani's a WTCR specialist. Who else is out there that are specialists?
Sebastian Reef, and we're looking at right now Tong Yin.
Tong Yin, he's good, isn't he?
Yep.
Francis Rostance as well. And who did you mention? He's not on track at the moment, but there he is.
Sebastian Reef, yeah, he's part of the Absolute Motorsports team, and it's one of those guys that if you look at race leaderboards, it's always the AM guys in their logos that are always on top, and he's one of those drivers who's fast in a touring car. So yeah, we might see like a bit of a shift in dynamics in terms of who's going to dominate this series. We're gonna earmark Ottaviani as one of them, but make no mistake, those other drivers who are going to challenge for him is going to make this a very, very close championship.
And you have Tognin here. Tognin, yeah. Tognin.
We'll ask him after this.
We'll ask him if he wins. He's in the Cupra as well. There's Ree here. He's in a what's he?
Cupra, yeah.
Quite a few of them in Cupras actually. So only of the Rostance here is in the Audi. So it seems like the Cupra is a favorite car for today.
Yeah, and Rostance, for example, Fraser Rostance, he's gone for the same car as Inigo Anton. So the Audi, yes, I've heard things about the car being a bit slippery through the corners and very, very bad on the brakes, but I guess some drivers manage to harness it and try to drive it well, and Rostance is probably one of them. And of course, Anton as well. Anton's actually gone for the same car, so probably something the way that the car drives actually suits both of them.
Yeah, so I mean, the Audi is running zero ballast, so maybe that's also another reason they want to choose it. But also, let's talk about fuel and tire wear. We just had silver class, and in silver we had normal tire wear and normal fuel. But for gold, and it's balloted in the driver briefing, gold was balloted with ×4 tire wear and ×4 fuel. So, Amo, I'm going to ask you to stick your neck out here. Do you think they need to stop the do a pit stop in these 15-minute races?
Highly likely not, because it is just a short race, isn't it? 15 minutes, we don't really go for the full half hour. If it's a half an hour, yes, they will actually have to pit, but for the 15 minutes, no. But the drivers who can conserve the tires the best will definitely be the guys that would be coming up to the front of the grid. And guys like Ottaviani, I will probably say is one of the best on them, then Reef, Tonyan, and Rostens, because I'm specifically pointing at the European drivers because they normally drive these cars in the actual races. In fact, Ottaviani, his livery, he's actually driving for his actual team that's also been put into the game. So that goes to show how much of a commitment he's putting into this. So yeah, I'm guessing. I'm gonna say that the European drivers will be up at the front, but make no mistake, some of the Asian drivers might be able to contend with that.
That is a very good point indeed. It is going to be tricky to see who is going to be strong. But yeah, the tyre wear is going to be difficult. I think if they aren't going to pit in a 15 minutes race, they're going to have to do some serious tyre saving, aren't they? They're going to have to go really slowly on the opening laps.
Yep. Well, in qualifying, they're going to go gung-ho and compare a Hail Mary of Frostens doing exactly what will be the opposite way he's going to in the races, to come into the pits in an extreme manner. And, well, he's going to change into the hard tyres now.
I'm going to say he's practicing pit entry. That tells me that they're going to go for pit stops. I think they're going to have to do pit stops in these two races, which is going to be very remarkable to watch. Times 4 tyre wear is going to be tough, you know, and these front-wheel drive cars especially, it is going to be tricky indeed. Okay, we're starting right now. Let's follow Inigo Anton, shall we? Inigo Anton, let's see what he can do from his view, and we can go for a lap as well around the track.
Right, go for Alex. This is a lap around the Motorland Aragon, which is normally host of MotoGP and Superbikes, but touring car races have happened here, and we're on board here in the Audi.
Yeah, let's go to the dash cam. Now we go. Braking for turn 1. Look at all the lovely use of all the curbs. You just have to be so aggressive here. Has to be patient on the exit, doesn't it? You can't just jump on the power too quickly because you just run out of track limits. Run out of road and have track limits. Now through turn 3. Tiny lift. Quite a big lift actually. So struggling with understeer. The Audi is through there. Through turn 4, turn 5 now. See use of all the curb. Nicely done. That looks quite good really. Now easy flat through turn 6. Coming up to turn 7 here, this right-hander. Oh, using that curb, it can be slippery. And but he just about holds on to the oversteer. Now for turn 8, this right-hander which leads straight over the brow into turn 9 as well. Ottaviani is very impressive to him. Yeah, Anton does go for the lower gear to try and rotate the car, but it doesn't really work with front-wheel drive touring car. See flat to this left-hander just about. And then this short straight, you will see some overtaking moves to this next left-hander as you go over another small brow. Who uses the curb in the entrance. That's quite useful because that curb can be slippery as well. Is he flat to this right-hander? Yeah, pretty much using all the curb again. Now this next left-hander is tight right, and then this left-hander, most important corner on the track. What do you think, Ammo? That looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Very neat and tidy throughout his entire lap, and I'm impressed at the way he drives it. It looks almost like he's gliding through the corners. Normally in touring cars like this, you will struggle to turn because of the front-wheel drive.
Yeah, all that understeer. I wonder if they are inclined to sometimes hit that handbrake to try and get that car to stop. Anyway, down this long, massive straight for the hairpin. Pretty much the last and best chance you have to overtake. It's so easy to overcook it here. Ooh, that looks just about right, actually, I would say. So Inigo Anton, through the last affected corner of the track, easy flat to his right and left-hander. I think that looks like a pretty clean lap. We're not sure that it's good enough for pole, but I think he'll be relatively pleased with that. And he has, of course, another time to do another lap.
Yep, front line, he's the first of the guys to break through the timing bit, but Ottaviani has bettered him by 7/10 with Ree in third, Suma to be a fourth, and Brody Steen, the only Australian in this championship right now, in fifth. So we're back to Ottaviani in the car that he represents his esports team for, because Race Room have actually included TX3 and several other teams in this one. So here's one of them, the virtual drivers by TX3, and looks as though Ottaviani has enough time to do one more lap, or if he stops it up quickly, he's going to do yet another one after this.
Yeah, so Ottaviani, he is on pole by 7/10. Not sure anyone will be able to catch him. We're just watching him go through turn 1 right now. Very impressive drive, very impressive lap so far. Let's see who else is out there on laps. Let's see if Ree's there. Ree's also just started a lap. Which of the other European drivers out there? Ron Stuntz there. Oh, he's had a terrible lap. 1.5 seconds down in sector 1. I would just try to restart this if I was him, but he's nowhere at the moment.
Yeah, and he barely has enough time, to, even with the restart, to actually start another lap. So he's going to have to stop quickly here to stand up any chance to actually record a lap time. Meanwhile, Alessandro Tonyan is 10th place, and looks like as though he hasn't set a lap time yet, I think.
No, and he's had terrible sectors as well. He's already down 1.6 seconds down on Ottaviani, so this is not going to be a lap to trouble the front 2 rows, I would say. Another driver, another Filipino driver, Zero Suma Debila did a good job there, up to P4, but one massive 1.7 seconds off this man, Ottaviani. Let's watch him right now. Let's see what he's doing that the others aren't doing, because he's been brilliant. He's on pole by 7/10, and he's up on his time already.
Yep. And remember the last time that he was in the global edition in the gold class, he could challenge for wins and try to challenge for the championship in the DTM cars, but he just couldn't actually crack it together. But now he is in his element. WTCR cars or World Touring Car Championship cars, whichever you name it, he loves front-wheel drive cars, and it's proven here right now why he is the man to beat coming into the season. 700s up in the first sector and 900s up in the second sector, so he's actually going to improve his lap time here.
Yeah.
Big time.
Let's just go back up. No, Anton did not improve, so that's him. He's out of it. Let's go back to Ottaviani. So, you know, it's kind of interesting how he uses the throttle. He's still using a bit of throttle mid-corner just to keep the speed up of the car. But that would have created more understeer as well. But he's somehow able to manage it.
Yeah, and the fact that use of the throttle slightly also helps the car somewhat gain a bit of grip, because the moment that you are actually off the throttle, the car's just not going to turn.
Yeah.
He's just going to go even wider. So he's using a bit of throttle to get out of it. Now it's going to come across the line. Is it going to be a 4? Oh, it's just a bit off by a 10th. But I'm going to stick in my... Oh, no, actually, he's improved it. The lap time actually just deceived us. It's 2:04.9. And Ree goes to second. So it's a Cupra 1-2. A European 1-2 right now with Virtual Drivers by TX3 in first and Absolute Motorsport in second. Top teams right now in the touring cars element of race room. Right up the front here, the eRGP.
Okay, a few other drivers out there trying to do their laps, but not able to do it at the moment. We saw Mitchell Cha in silver. He's there. No, he's not able to do a lap as well. So here we are with the several cars not done a lap yet. So we only got 12 on the leaderboard at the moment. But Ottaviani on pole, Ree second, Inigo Anton in third, followed by Zero Simudabila in fourth, a previous silver class winner. Brody Steen from Australia in fifth, Darren Ivan in sixth, Ayman Haziq in seventh. Haziq down in 7th. That's normally he'd be doing much better than that. Mark Voltaire Aom in 8th, Gonzalez in 9th, and Alessandro Tonging in 10th. He will not be happy with that.
Yeah. And a bit of a depleted field, but 15 drivers can still make some good racing though. We're going to expect that this is going to be a very close field.
Yeah, so close field indeed. So qualifying is done and dusted. They are back in the pit lane getting ready, making sure they have the right fuel, right tires on. I don't think they're allowed to change compound for this, but times 4 tire wear. It's going to be tricky. I think the first few laps, you're going to see drivers be very, very, very careful.
And indeed, the fact that no driver in their right man will go into the soft compounds, they're going to go all hard. In fact, even in qualifying just now, we saw them go hard. So really, it's a matter of trying to tippy-toe their way around the track, which is actually quite notoriously bad on tire wear for touring cars on the right-hand side of the car. So it's going to be tricky for them.
Okay, just a couple of seconds left before the start of race 1 of Gold Class. This is Global Edition 7, everyone. Round 1, and we have 2 races today. This is race 1, followed by reverse grid, race 2, right after it.
So then red lights on the gantry is going to come on now. Any second before we're going to go green, because we go green. There we go. 5 lights on the gantry, and we're underway. Green lights are out, and looks as though Ottaviani's actually gotten a great start in the Cupra. He's got a whole shot coming to turn 1 with Sebastian Reef following him in second place. So TX3 and AM right in front, just like in the actual race room European competitions. Sumadibi has actually made out the third, but no. Brody Steve has actually punched his way through into third place. In front of Sumadibi and Inigo Anton, the best of the Filipinos besides Sumadibi in fifth. So 4th and 5th there, you can see the 2 Filipinos scrapping their way. But it looks as though all 15 drivers have got the race safely. Oh! Sumadibi goes up 2 wheels onto the gravel trap, onto the grass, and manages to save it. So that's luckily front wheel drive cars. You can actually just plow the front and save it. But apart from that small incident, everybody is away safely, Alex.
Wow, so everyone, you know, we've had some great races today. All the classes we've had today, all the categories we've had today, have had clean first few laps, first few corners, shall we say.
And up to that point, apart from the sliding Sumadibi, we'll look out to the front. It's between Ottaviani and Sebastian Rees. So the 2 Europeans that we have tipped to do the the business have actually proven us right here, with both Cupras right up in front by almost a second ahead of Brody Steen. Steen now holding off Inigo Anton in 4th place. 5th is Darren Abirajan, with Ayman Hazi actually climbing out to 6th place right now. And several other drivers in the field have actually dropped positions, including Seiko, who's in 14th, and Mitchell Chia, who's an actual touring car driver, driving his actual car in the game, in 12th right now behind Harris.
Okay, that's he had to turned in too early there. That cost him. So Alessandro is just going to pull out a gap down the start finish straight. That mistake by Ree onto the back straight is going to cost him dearly.
And meanwhile, speaking of costing momentum dearly, we're looking at Brody Steen here. He's lost a bit of time to Anton, and normally the Hyundai is actually quite fast on the straight. He's actually being gobbled out here by the Audi. The Audi's also good on the straight, but poor in the corners. Let's see who's actually going to make it to the corner better. And looks as though Anton dives one onto the inside of Steen, and he gets back across for the cutback. But that's going to be a bit of a mistake, because look at that, side by side, and the guy on the inside would definitely have the advantage, and Steen there got hung out to dry by Anton. So Anton's now up to 3rd. He wants to get his season underway in Global Edition 7 on a good foot.
Wow, so okay, they are pushing quite hard though. I did not expect them to be pushing so hard this early in the race. So we will see if they need to pit. We don't know, but we suspect that some of these drivers might be trying to do this race with one pit stop.
Either one pit stop or with no pit stop, because ideally, because it's a sprint race, you don't want to do pit stop, so no stopper is the option. But we've seen some crazy things happen over in the past, and it might be a possibility in the realms of possibilities.
I agree. I would say definitely use the hards and don't stop. Just look after those cars. But in practice, we saw this couple of drivers practicing the pit stop entry. It makes me pit lane entry. It makes me wonder if someone's
I think one of those guys was also Sebastian Reef, so Reef might be one of those guys who's thinking of trying to do that kind of pit stop strategy, but that might just be, for the sake of contingency plans, I simply say, if the tires were to pop. Up in the front is Antoviani, so 12.0, so that will be the first lap times. We're going to wait until the lap times start tumbling. And compared to the silver drivers who drove in the same category of cars earlier in the day, how fast they are in terms of lap times. But surprised that Axel Nocom has actually not mated this race, because I would love to see how he will fare against guys like these.
That is true. Actually, I'm quite surprised. Axel Nocom was going to take part in gold, but he's not here at the moment. But I got a feeling that today, with Times 4 tire wear, you have to be quite smart with how you drive. I think you have to use your experience, don't you?
Indeed, and guys like Ottaviani and Reed, they have experience in the European competitions. In fact, for example, like Ottaviani driving in his actual esports car, he knows his way around in the touring cars. He will probably try to drive as smart as possible and try not to use too much tires. Yes, at the start of the race, he was pushing away, but now he's in the phase of he's trying to conserve them.
So careful. I have to say, Inigo Anton's not too severe either. Though. There he is in P3, right behind these cars, and he's pushing quite hard. Well, he's not pushing too hard, but he had some tire issues later on.
Yeah, the tires will go pop. In race room, you can actually, if you're driving, you can hear the audible sound of a tire popping, and that's the most gut-wrenching sound in the world to hear when you're driving. So the drivers will be hoping they were not going to move through safety, because the moment they hear the rim start scraping, you know that your race is done. So for now, at least, the guys in the front, they have no such things to worry about apart from Ottaviani and Reed. They're actually battling close to each other, but they're just keeping each other honest. They're trying to actually gap themselves here to Anton. So the moment, the closer they get with the slipstream, the further they are ahead of the guy in third place. As we look at Brody Steen here, battling for 4th position with Darren Abirajan, who was actually up in that top 3 in the silver class. He didn't have such a good day in silver, but it looks as though he wants to make up for it in gold, and he's looking on course here to get the top 5 finish.
And there he is, Darren. I good. Did not have a good silver day, but he was super aggressive all over the back of Brody Steen.
Steve, of course, he's going to try to do the Mitchell Chia here and try to defend as hard as he could. But this is only the start of the race, because we saw towards the end how much tire wore out for Mitchell, and that's how he lost third place at the line to Nocom. So second place to Nocom. So he might actually want to avoid that here. As we look on board Ayman, who incidentally was with me earlier today at the convention. We were watching some drift cars going around at the mall. Now he managed to make it home, which is normally about 1.5 hours away to actually be in this race. So right now, at least, he's looking to practice touring cars as much as good, because there'll be plenty of touring car races coming out towards the end of the year. 6th place right now behind fellow Blue Steel driver Darren Abirajan. So they're in formation right now, trying to attack Brody. Brody's driving well right now. This is the best I've seen Brody in the championship so far.
Right, let's go back to the front and see if Sebastian Reef can do anything. And let's get a look at the young driver, shall we?
And looks very young here. Did you see the way he took that final corner? That was almost like a Scandinavian flight. He nearly pointed the car into the infield section, but he managed to save it and get that car frothed out of there. But he's still giving Ottaviani a run for his money. 5/10 of a second right now, separate first and second. This is going to be like, if it's like gonna live like this for the rest of the season, I can't wait for how this will go after this.
Yeah, so Ree holding on to the lead holding on to the coattails of Ottaviani. It's really going to be a question of who's got the best tyres towards the end of the race, I feel.
And in terms of tyres as well, we're going to look at also pace. And right now it looks as though the both of them are not losing pace. In fact, last time out was a 2:06.3 for both of them, but it's faster for Ottaviani. And in fact, he said it's first and best lap of the race and fastest lap of the race last time out. So nothing much in it between these two guys.
Yeah, so if he's doing the fastest lap of the race and we're halfway through the race now, that means the tyres are still in pretty good condition.
That's what we can expect from a guy who has touring car racing in it as his forte, and right behind him, just keeping him quite honest. There's Ottaviani in our inset. It looks very tense right now. Don't you think he looks a bit worried, or is it because he looks a bit sleepy?
Well, I've seen him drive a few times right now. I mean, he races against Axel Sports in Virtual Le Mans Virtual Series, and he's a top driver. He races for the Grosjean team there. RAG, sorry.
And he was also the media press officer or someone who's working in social media for BHK Motorsport, who competes in European Le Mans. So this guy's got a lot of street cred.
He does indeed. But I think he looks quite relaxed. He's looking very intense, but I think he's got it in the bag.
For now, at least, but still.
For now, yes.
6/10 of a second separate between Sub and Reed. So any one wrong step will actually be an advantage for Reed to actually capitalize on that. So made no mistake, this race is still far from over. But for now, at least, Ottaviani has the advantage because he's up in front and he has clear track ahead of him. He's not had pressure on him, and could also, allied to that, it saves his tires. So both of these guys are in the same zone right now. And Inigo Anton will be ready to strike, but unfortunately 3.3 seconds behind the top two right now.
There is Inigo Anton, you just mentioned him. He is a little bit further back than you'd hoped, but he was really undone by that poor start. I think his inexperience with these cars meant he did not nail that start at all, and that is why he was too far back.
And there's Inigo Anton. That is bad actually, because that's a nice checkered flag there. I thought it was a table for a second. But there you go, racing runs through his veins. His parents are both avid participants in motorsports, and both of them actually drove Ferraris at one point, Ferrari challenge cars. But yeah, racing background, and Anton's probably destined to be in the same trajectory both in sim and in virtual. Right now in third place, safely ahead of Brody's team by about 4 seconds. So right now Brody's got 3 Alphas right behind him, including the likes of Darren Alvin Range and Volta Elman, who's actually gotten ahead of Ayman Hazik. There we go, side by side, bang on cue. And Ayman's actually behind this particular train with Francis Angelo Gonzalez, who was also one of those drivers who participated in the silver race, in 8th place right now.
Yeah, there is Hazik all over the back. Yeah, he won't be happy with this. So I know he was probably getting on the sim a bit late, but he's a very competitive driver, and I'm sure he'd want to be in the podium positions.
Indeed. But the fact that, what positions are we going to reverse? 15, right? Because there's only 15 drivers here right now anyway.
No, I think it's top 12 get reversed.
Okay, so right now that's being held by Voltaire Seiko, who was the winner in race 2 for silver just now. He's only in 12th in front of Mitchell Chia, so the drivers who perform well in silver, looks like they're a bit out of their depth here in gold for the time being at least, because they're only in the first round of the season anyway. But we'll have to wait for the second race if these guys can actually make do with a bunch of drivers who are ultra competitive and really well slick in operating these touring cars. As Elman tries to overtake on the inside of Range, and there you don't really overtake on cars. You normally see that on bikes going through there.
Yeah, that would have been a very yeah, that wasn't a very smart move for me, because it ruins his exit onto the back straight, and now he's vulnerable and is going to get overtaken by Ayman Hazik.
So I'm Hazik on the inside there. He's not going to the slip train because he knows that full well if he gets stuck behind there, he can overtake. But conversely, that actually leaves plenty of room for Elman to actually still defend. And bang on cue, look at that. Elman's on the inside into this penultimate corner and still holds on to it. But if Ayman Hazik actually has enough momentum, he can actually go to the inside, and they touch each other slightly. Ayman Hazik actually gets a slowdown penalty, but he moves up to 6th place in front of Elman. So Elman didn't block the line enough or in time to prevent him from being overtaken. Now Ayman Hazik's back to 6th place.
Yeah, rather tentative overtaking by Hazik there. Didn't look very convinced about whether he was going to make the move or not. And that's really allowed Elmer to be right on the back of him as well. So this battle is definitely going to keep going on and on.
And all the while then, these two were fighting. They have actually given room to Darren Ivan Rajan, about 1.5 seconds now of buffer space to actually battle for fourth place. So Brody Steen has actually held on for 4th place for the longest time, and he'll be thankful that all 3 Audis just pretty much attacked each other and gave him plenty of space in 4th place. But Rajan still is close here by 8/10. So watch this space. 3.5 minutes left to go. We might still see some change here in the top 5.
Absolutely, Elman there looking to the outside, trying to switch back, not working at the moment, but he's looking very close indeed.
And all the while then, these two are battling. They're actually bringing Francis Angel Gonzalez into play. So 6 and 7 and 8 looks like they're going to be destined to be here because they're quite far behind from the other drivers. But make no mistake, it's been good battle so far and quite clean, Alex.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the racing today, all day, all the categories. Everyone has been racing very cleanly. I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 protests. We'll see what they are later on. But yeah, it's good seeing standard getting raised.
Indeed. Apart from that crazy start to the silver race, but yeah, you're right, Alex. It has been rather calm. So I guess they know full well that at the end of the season, end of the year, they just don't want to create any more animosities. Otherwise, they won't be getting Christmas cards from each other.
Christmas cards, indeed. I just think people are getting better at understanding where the limits are. And you know, as a driver, you never really want to go over the limit, do you? You want to push that limit, maybe see if you can move the limit. But it's all about staying within the rules to win.
Yep, and that's why the limits are actually hard to exceed. So you're going to have to find a way to actually go over it, but just not overstepping the mark and try to whack somebody off the road. As we go back up to the front here, these guys are pretty much setting the bar, if we can safely say, in this class. 4 seconds ahead of Inigo Anton, so Anton has no answer to this, but he'll be happy to actually be in 3rd place for the best of the rest category here, because these two guys, we can safely say, are like touring car specialists, WTCR specialists, whatever we can call it. They have actually shown up today and shown why these guys are going to be the ones to beat in the next 2 rounds. As Ottaviani now still holds the fastest lap of the race by about 200ths of a second. We can read it out right now. 206.310 and 206.334 between Ottaviani and Ree. That's amazingly close, Alex.
And what's good is you can see the experience they have with these cars because they're still consistent. You know, the last time was 7.2. You'd always expect this sort of big drop off, especially with times 4 tire wear. With these cars, you do get that sort of drop off. So, but they are maintaining it quite well, whereas the others, you know, their lap times aren't as quick, but you can see the drop off is quite big. Inigo Anton, they're dropping back now 4 seconds behind the leading 2. And then another 7 seconds behind that is Brody Steen, followed closely by Darren Ivan.
And Darren Ivan will probably know full well he doesn't want to get disqualified at this point in time. Remember, in that first race in silver, he got disqualified at the worst possible moment. With just 3 minutes left to go, he could have been in 3rd place. But now he can make up for it here in the gold class. And, well, we'll probably try to do a 2 championship assaults, shall we say, like Freddie Spencer back in the 80s in MotoGP, where he had the 250cc and 500cc World Championships.
Gosh, I remember that. I'm old enough to remember that. That was fantastic. Spencer, Lawson, and then after that you had Gardner, Schwantz, Rainey. Great era of a 2-wheel.
Yep, on the 2-stroke 500cc's, those were really manning machines to ride on. And we're on, incidentally, a MotoGP track, but unfortunately we're not using the MotoGP left because it goes right about here, where you can see there's a big parabolic left-hand turn. We're going straight ahead into the hairpin, and Darren Ivan Rajan, that was quite surprising. I thought he was going to brake a bit late there because it sounded as though both of those drivers are braking early, and that probably be a sign of the fact that their tires are not up to scratch now.
Yeah, definitely. You have 2 goes at the brake pedal, which is not the way that you want to do things. So let's go back to the front right now because it looks like Sebastian Reef has closed down the gap ever so slightly to Ottaviani.
1.1 seconds was the gap last time out in the previous lap, which was lap 7. Now we're in lap 8. And we unfortunately don't have lap times for Ree because Ree has actually been going off the track quite a few times, so it says invalid. Ottaviani's lap time last time out was at 8.2, so about 1.9 seconds off his fastest lap time, so that's how much he's dropped. But look at that! He's actually closed up right to the back of him, so 0.2 of a second, so this might be the battle we have to stay on, Alex.
Absolutely. So I think Rees just does a better job of looking after the tyre wear. Ottaviani's struggling at the moment to stay in front of the German.
And it's a German-Italian battle. We've seen this many times before in football where the Germans and Italians have fought it out, especially in the 2006 World Cup. It was Italy 1, Germany 0 that time round. Will it be Germany 1, Italy 0 this time round for if Ree can get better over Ottaviani? Okay, coming up to the long parabolic curve. We're into the 3rd sector now. This is going to be close here. Any chance of an overtake, Alex, here?
Not close enough, is he? But oh, he's got late on the brake there, just makes the apex. Ottaviani's definitely struggling right now. If Ree could just get a good launch out of the next left-hander, he could be challenging him down the back straight.
Oh, we had to stay on this, coming through now, turn 14 and 15. Who's going to get a better exit? It looks as though Ottaviani just got a bit of a better exit that time round, but slipstream will still be in favor for Ree as we come out now to turn 16. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes here with tires that have gone off? Oh, Ottaviani's actually gotten a slowdown penalty, so that might actually cost him the win here.
Wow, okay, so, but he's got to defend. He's got to close the, there he goes. Goes to the inside, takes a slowdown penalty. Oh, he's braking late. He's braking super late.
Oh, that's a hit. That's a massive hit. We heard a lock up there from Ree, and looks as though we thought that he was going to break it in time. We thought that Ottaviani is going to go off, but Ottaviani has actually survived that particular onslaught, and he will take victory. And look at that. Ree has actually been overtaken by Anton. So Ottaviani is going to win the first race of gold for season 7, but Ree's actually been overtaken. Looks as though that damage was terminal. It might have been a puncture. Anton with a surprising second place. And where's Ree's going to finish? It's a puncture. It is actually a puncture. So that's why we heard the tire go pop there. And that last minute launch assault onto the final corner, it didn't pay off. Brody's team gets third place. Rajan fourth, and Ree at one point, who was actually going to get second place or first, has dropped to fifth. What a dramatic finish. And look at that, both tires have gone pop at the front, and we have to get a quick word with Ottaviani. That was a great finale to this first race.
Oh, he's turned off his camera. Let's see if we can talk with Ottaviani just very quickly. I have to ask Alessandro if he can just chat with us a bit. We'll ask him to unmute himself. But yes, Alessandro, you managed to hold on for the win, but it got very close at the very end, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very close. I tried to manage the tires from the start of the race, so I just stay calm and do everything okay. Don't stress the tires. That was my main task for the race. I think the guys behind had the puncture in the last corner. I don't know, because literally he hit me. He was quite far, so I don't know. But yeah, the main task for this race was manage the tires just to go to the end, because with four of tire it's quite tough. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We'll let you focus on race 2, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we did suspect that he was on tire conservation mode because it was very, very tight between the two of them towards the end. And I think Ree might have actually planned that assault one lap a bit too early. If he actually left it out and still had enough tire towards the end, he might have overtaken Ottaviani towards the end. But unfortunately for him, the tires went pop, and that's where results lie. Ottaviani, Anton, Steen up podium, Rajan, and 5th place Ree. So 5 different drivers from 5 different nationalities in top 5.
Wow. So Ree, though, obviously he's the guy that's going to be struggling a little bit. Oh, you're freezing just a little bit there, but it's okay.
That little bit creepy for a second, because that was probably catching us when we were commentating. But yes, that is quite an entertaining race. I didn't expect it to actually be that close towards the end of the race, but for now at least, we have a championship on our hands, because Ottaviani, although fast, he looks as though he's not impervious.
No, absolutely not. I mean, he's a proper TCR specialist, you know, and Ree there also showing how quick he is and good with tire conservation. Okay, and Inigo Anton, I think, fortunate to get to P2. But let's not forget about that. Let's concentrate on race 2, reverse grid race.
Yeah, we're soon to be on pole, and Tongyin in second place. We have the red lights on now, but we don't have the rest of the field as we go now for the green light, and we only have 5 drivers on the grid, actually. Oh, wait, they're actually slowly spawning, but it looks as though Sumudibia and Seiko will come into the first corner first, and the rest of the field will probably spawn in due time.
Well, hopefully they are not having an issue. It's just on our side. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay, because we're racing right now. But for the time being, at least, Sumudibia has gotten the start that he wanted, and he is up in front, ahead of Voltaire Seiko, with Tony in third, Imazing fourth, and Sebastian Reef, who will be very disappointed with that end of the first race, in 5th. So the main protagonists now are making their way through, with Ottaviani in that very visible green and blue car already making his way up to 10th.
Yeah, good start right here. And he's passing to go Anton as well. So this is going well for him, but you know, he has to be so careful with tire wear.
Indeed, and he did say just now he went to full conservation mode by the end of that, by the mid part of the race. So he can't afford to do that though, because he needs to make up those positions as quickly as possible right now before he can think about conservation. So at the moment, at least, he's done that part quite well. He's up to 8th, and he's not that far away from the challenger for that first race, Sebastian Reef. He tries to overtake Angelo Gonzalez and Darren Evan Rajan. He's got them through Gonzalez. Will he try Rajan here through turn 13? Oh, Rajan actually goes for it, and he hits the side of Ree. So luckily he didn't go 2 wheels that time around, but that has actually got the name into the clutches of Ottaviani as they come out to the final sector now. And looks as though, oh, Rajan's gone wide, and that will give Ottaviani 6th place. So the guys who finished 1st and 5th in that first race, who were running 1st and 2nd at one point, are now up into the mid part of the top 10.
Okay, let's go back to the front. Sumo Debilia there in 1st position. There in 2nd position is Seiko, weaving unnecessarily, I feel. Trying to break it's very strange to weave out of to stop the slipstream and then go right back into the slipstream. Quite unnecessary, I feel. But he is 2nd position right now with Tonglin there in 3rd position on the switchback, trying the switchback.
Oh, that's again, I always feel that the switchback in touring cars is almost useless because you still need the momentum out, and it is front-wheel drive cars. But in this case, oh, Tonglin actually slams to the side of Seiko. You can hear that sound, actually, that crunching sound when you hit. And luckily, Seiko has actually managed to keep it all together because that last time around we saw an Alfa Romeo on 2 wheels. It was Darren Abirajan, and he retired in that 2nd race in silver. As Ayman Isaac goes for 2nd. Oh, that's a good move. He managed to get 2 in 1. And now, further behind there, Ree and Ottaviani actually are going for it as well. On the back of Seiko and Tonglin. This is actually kicking off right now, and we're only about 2.5 minutes into this race.
Wow, it's good to see if Ayman Isaac can get a gap right now. We know what a talented driver he is, but he's got some very fast drivers right behind him. Or, meanwhile, Zero Sumo Debilia is like, thank you very much. I can go out in front, maybe manage my tires, and just focus maybe on winning my first race in gold class.
Yep, indeed. And the fact that he has actually risen up from copper now to gold in a very short space of time. He has not managed to get the best of results in gold as far as we see. But as you say, Alex, this might be the best time right now to actually get that win. And what a way to do so with a field of drivers this strong, actually.
Yeah, it would be awesome if we could. We're on board right now with Tonglin.
Tonglin there, that's not Tonglin, that's actually Ree, I think, because we saw the camera just now focusing. But either way, we're looking at now the battle between these two guys. Actually, not just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in fact all the way to Haris Shami in 10th place. Yeah. So this is actually a battle for 2nd place, but goes all the way to 10th. So this is a huge gaggle of cars. This is pretty much typical touring car stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think Tonglin's teammates with Ree, because I think they're running the same kit car. But you see Alessandro Ottaviani there getting a good run out the last corner. Oh, but he doesn't have the straight line speed of the Alfa, right? The Alfa's very quick down the straight. I thought the Alfa was supposed to be bad down the straight.
Well, a couple of Alphas ago, yes, in 2019, that's actually quite a crap car on the straight. As Ottaviani looks one on the inside of Seiko.
Oh!
Seiko, he actually barges his way through Tonglin, and Ottaviani gets the both of them, almost actually, because you can see Seiko still there, side by side of them coming through the last corner, and looks as though, yep, Ottaviani gets it. He's up to 3rd place, and Sebastian Reef, who was challenging up in that top 5 earlier, he's not made much progress. He's still stuck in that gaggle, in the midfield gaggle, and he's still in 5th, while Ottaviani is now making his way up to the top 3, and he's right behind Ayman Isaac. So right now, at least, Ottaviani is trying to aim for the double at the first round of the season.
And I think he's going to do it, you know. That clash at the hairpin of the cars in front of him really helped him. And now he's up to P3, and he's definitely got the pace with 10 minutes to go to overhaul the first 2 cars.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, Ayman Isaac will be a bit of a hard cookie to crack, to be honest, because he can defend quite well and he has very good racecraft. So Ottaviani might find it a bit of a difficult opponent to pass as. So we saw Reacher not trying to overtake the inside of Seiko, not there, not going through turn 7, just almost making it. But the more that he actually fights, the more he's going to wear those tires. And we saw at the end of the first race how he went to the back of Ottaviani. Ottaviani thought that puncture, and he thought right actually, the puncture, but the contact was probably unavoidable because he just couldn't turn anymore, and that's why he turned around the back of him. So right now, Ree will try to avoid trying to go for the same fate by trying to save the tires, but doing so, he's also falling into the clutches of other drivers, including Inigo Anton, who finished 2nd in the first race.
Wow, Anton there, you know, taking the fight to Ree is a really good sign, but Ree will be really disappointed to be so far behind because he would be hoping to have won race 2 after having that puncher in the last lap of race 1.
Yeah, and the fact that it has not gone to plan for him in race 2 either, because Ottaviani has actually gotten past him, and the guy who finished 2nd, who was running 3rd at one point, is right behind him right now. So not a good second race right now, but probably, I think Alex, he's thinking about tire conservation this early so that he could have better tires towards the end.
Yeah, that could very well be it, couldn't it?
Oh, look at that. That's Seiko doing it again. He's actually going for it. There, that's Sebastian Reef. So the guy we were watching just now was Tongnin. So Tongnin actually right now in P7 as Reef trying to go through on the inside of Seiko. Don't touch that sausage go on the inside. It could send you up on 2 wheels. And luckily Reef held on to it, but Seiko managed to still stay ahead. And Anton here might actually do his countryman a big favor. He could if he could overtake the German.
I just watched this and I wonder if they got the tyre wear for it. But Ottaviani threw Haziq quite easily off camera, so he's up to P2 right now and looking quite good. But we're watching the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th position.
Yeah, and it's still quite close between. In fact, at one point we thought we saw a train of up to 10 cars. That has been broken up slightly because the guy that's coming out to the tail end of the field is Darren Averagent in 8th place. So that battle has been broken up a bit. So we are seeing our own individual groups here between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and now 6th, 7th, and 8th. But yeah, not as big group as previously, but nonetheless, it's still going to be quite a tight race. As we look now, Reed trying one again on the inside, coming out to turn 7 to overtake Seiko, but Seiko manages to break that quite late. We did establish earlier that the Alpha is a dive bomb car and also a late braking car, so Seiko's putting that to good use as Anton around the outside of Reed coming through turn 8. That's a brave move, and he makes it through the waterfall section. That is a good move there from Anton. He tries to make it 2 and 1 to overtake Seiko, but Seiko probably has the line, but now look at that. Side by side they go. He's going to take it though. Is he going to take it, Alex? Yes, he does.
Wow, Inigo Anton, great move there. Showing some great racecraft, and is he up to 4th though? Just about, if he doesn't outbrake himself, of course. Makes the apex, looks good.
And Reed trying to send one on the inside of Seiko. Seiko has been defending quite hard from Reed, but it made it quite easy for Seiko. I think probably Anton probably because of either it's the Filipino tires or they're probably just saying that, yeah, I'm trying to conserve it, it's good tires, but I think I'm going for the former. It was actually a matter of nationalities.
Anton had a relatively clean left-hander just out there on the back straight, but 2 laps before that, he kept missing the apex. He's not consistent enough through that corner, and that's going to make him vulnerable, I feel.
Yeah, in fact, that he still has not established a bit of a buffer between himself and Seiko, so Seiko can still attack. In fact, he dinks one on the inside, has a dink, but no way through just yet. As we're gonna watch this battle for a bit because look at that, Ottaviani's on the back of Sumidibia, and finally, Reed gets past Seiko. But we're going to focus up to the front. This is between Sumidibia and Ottaviani. Ottaviani, though, aiming for a double second win in a row, the first double of the season. And did we have doubles in the Copper class?
Yeah, and Sumidibia not driving well indeed, not using the full width as well, and not defending either, so not there or thereabouts. But yes, we have had double winners in Gold class before, quite a few actually. Remember Leaf Hamilton did it. I remember Nakib has done it a couple times.
Actually, I was aiming for this today, actually.
For today? Oh, yeah. Doubles today, sorry. Doubles today? No one's done a double today. So, but yes, I think Ottaviani's looking odds on to do it, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. And he's got the car underneath him to do so, and the ability as well, because you can safely say that he is within his element, as we said before. In the touring cars, he just loves driving two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive cars at the front. I personally hate it. I actually hate touring cars. It's just like my least favorite category to drive on, but it's my favorite category to watch. And so far, at least, we've been entertained with really 4 good races in a row because we had touring cars in the silver class, and those were very good as well.
You're absolutely right, Amel. We've had some great races today. And we're seeing a cracker one now, but look at that Ottaviani. He's got to be thinking of going down the inside here.
Yeah, coming up to turn 13. This might just 12 and 13. No, not yet. You don't really overtake there unless you have a good whiff on the inside. You have enough of a line to do so. And I think he's just waiting for the straight because the Cupra is actually that good. Oh, but he might just be able to do so here.
Nope. But Sumidibia is not driving well at all. I've seen a couple laps now, and I don't think it's his tyre wear. He's just putting the car all in the wrong place, and in the end, making it very easy for Ottaviani.
And also, likewise, it's going to make it easy for Imazi because that run out of the turn 14-15 complex has actually stifled his momentum. And now, yes, despite he's gotten a bit of a slipstream from Ottaviani, Imazi actually has the better gap between these two. He's going to dive one on the inside, coming through turn 16. Does he make it? Yes, he does. And he makes it through. So second place for Imazi. That's a good way to start off the season. As Darren Averagent goes wide there, or was it Seiko? Because they were driving the exact same Alphas anyway. But looks as though Ottaviani here, well on his way to getting hit the first double of the season.
Yes, absolutely. Driving fantastic. you know, what was so impressive about the Italian was he wasn't doing anything crazy. He was being very patient. You know, he knows the tire wear is an issue, and that patience is just rewarded tenfold.
Indeed. Exponentially, that's going to increase the gap at the top because second place Inigo Anton is currently in 5th, so he's going to get a good start to the season. A very healthy margin as we head into round 2, which will be announced very soon.
Yeah, Reese got past Anton. So Anton had got past Reese, but Reese found his way back now. And you know what? I think Reese might still be able to get into second position. There's still enough time. Oh, but not if Suma Davila defends like that. That's allowing Anton to come back at him.
Yep, and Anton might want to try another move around the outside here. He's thinking about it. He looks like he's going to do it, but no, this time Bree is well aware to it and holds on to the line that's going to become the right-hander here. And nope, Anton no way through just yet, but Subidia fighting hard here. And it looks as though the Filipinos are actually sticking up for each other because despite racing for the same teams, they still have very strong nationality pride here. They want to actually have their fellow drivers have better results.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they're consciously doing it. I think they're all racing each other really hard. Maybe subconsciously something like that might be happening, but I'm not seeing it too obvious at the moment. But yes, this battle for third position is going to go on, and I'll tell you what, Hazik is really benefiting from this because Suma Davila is going to, look at him, he's just not driving well, Zero. Missing apexes. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
Oh, no.
Not what I expect to see in Gold Class. And the big beneficiaries, of course, Ayman Hazik and Alessandro Ottaviani ahead of them.
And also Sebastian Reef. Look at that. Reef's going onto the inside. That's going to be the easiest move that he's done today on any Filipino driver because both of the Alphas that he tried to overtake, Seiko and Sumadibia, have given him quite a hard time. And this one is probably the easiest maneuvers of the lot as Anton will try to send one on the inside. There you go. See, it's almost as if it's too easy. He didn't really defend it. He just let him through.
Yeah, he looked to defend though, but he decided to defend too late, I think.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. A bit of a dink trying to actually scare Ree into a mistake, but unfortunately that has not worked out. And now 2 minutes left to go, and we have at least about, actually this might be the last lap because Ottaviani crossed the line at about 2:02, and the laps here are about 2:07s. So this might be the final lap.
All right, and who's got fastest lap of the race right now? That's Ree with a 6.9.
The fastest lap on this particular one, and we're watching him right now, but it might be a bit too late here to attack, unless of course he's going to go gung-ho and try to do the same thing that he failed to do in the previous race, which was take the lead off Ottaviani. Yeah,
it's not enough time now. Ottaviani's got this in the bag, but I'm quite impressed with the Alphas. You know, the Alphas have got pace today, because you can see that quite a few of the Alpha drivers aren't driving very well, but still able to keep up there.
And if you were to put me in this race, I think I would be one of those Alphas that might not drive so well because, again, I make the point clear that I really don't like to drive front-wheel drive cars, but in terms of racing, though, absolutely amazing. We've seen two crackover race, and we're going to get a final lap battle here between Ottaviani and Ayman Hazik. If Ayman were to try to move on the inside, I don't think so because he's not the kind of driver to do brash moves, but he might be hoping that Ottaviani will still be in tire conservation mode if he tries to pull one on the inside.
Oh, I hope Ayman tries a brash move. If he ever wants to win at this level, he has to be aggressive and he has to try and take those moves. But as we say that, he's just too far away at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, and Ottaviani's got the lines covered unless, of course, he tries a big boy dive coming into turn 17.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to look at that. Even Ottaviani's actually made up time on the exit of it. So it looks as though Ayman Hazik will settle for a season best second place so far with Ree third, Anton fourth. So the field's pretty much settled here on the final lap of the race, presumably.
Yeah, presumably. As we watch all of them go down the back straight, this is the last lap. We think we will go and ride on board with the leader, of course. Get his reactions as he goes across the line.
So Ottaviani coming through turn 16, 17, and now 18. This is the final lap. So despite a tough second race, where he had to overtake a lot of drivers and tried to throw conservation out the window, he comes across the line and takes victory here. Alessandro Ottaviani becomes the first double winner in all the classes this season. And look at that, a very good morning for him from the Saturday that he's having here in Italy. Second place is Ayman Hazik, and third will be Sebastian Reef. So he makes up for the disappointment in race 1, but take nothing away from Ottaviani. He has driven quite well, and we will have a word with him now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there are the top 10 right now. You can see the field right now. Fastest lap, of course, going to Sebastian Reef. Alessandro, you almost took all the points on offer today. You did not get the fastest lap for race 2, but what a well-driven race 2. How was it?
Yeah, it was quite fun, especially in the start. I started from behind, so it was very difficult to manage the traffic. And I just tried to do my race. I just tried to stay calm and don't do useless in points. So yeah, I tried just to manage all the stuff in the race, and yeah, I think it worked because yeah, I won the race. Yeah, so I'm happy. I'm quite happy.
Well done. Congratulations on that. I mean, you
Thank
are
you.
leading the championship now, obviously. It's a short round,
Nice.
only 3 rounds here in Global Edition 7. Normally, you do 5 or 6 rounds. But yeah, what's your prep now for next week? Because you got second race next week. And of course, you got Virtual Le Mans coming up as well. So, how are you going to do all this?
For sure, will be quite busy weeks because with Le Mans Virtual, eRacing GP, and Rams GT3 Championship, I will have a lot of stuff to do. So for every championship, but it will be very difficult to manage all the testing, training, and all the stuff. But yeah, I'm quite confident. I think I can do a similar weekend in the next race.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Thank you so much for everything. It's been great watching you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you guys.
See ya. Okay, Amo, that was exciting.
Yep.
Any final words from you?
Before we say arrivederci, we're going to say that, yeah, we're looking forward to a very good season. Despite it being one-way traffic in terms of the championship so far, at least it has been quite good for in terms of race-wise, because we saw a final lap scrap between first and second, and we saw a very close top 10 at the end. So I'm looking forward to more close racing here for the season to come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been great fun doing this, as always has been. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our 7th Global Edition. Round 2 is coming up next week. We will release what track we're driving on Monday night, so you guys can see what we do then. I think from Amo and myself, good night, and enjoy the rest of your week.